What's going on, guys? Marshall with Marshall Law Morphs. Welcome back to the channel. Before we get going, I want to take a moment to give a huge shout out to my man Earl Jones over at Lone Star Reptiles. Got some nice little swag. If you saw my video a little while back, you'll see that I picked up a pastel clown, or banana pastel clown, from him. So huge thank you to Earl. Beautiful animal, and he's doing well. So yeah, like I said, check out the hat, check out the t-shirt, check out his website. That's LoneStarReptiles.com. Now for today's video, I've gotten a few requests from people in the past, and I kind of wanted to build up a few hatchlings before doing the video, but I just wanted to take a moment to highlight one of the genes that's pretty near and dear to my heart here at Marshall Law Morphs, and that, of course, if you know me at all, that of course is the lace gene. I wanted to take and get some hatchlings to highlight in up close so you guys can take a look at it, point out some things that I see in the gene, some of the things that it does, and I guess try to spread the word about the lace gene itself. It's a phenomenal gene. One of the things that I love about the gene is the fact that it's an enhancing gene, much like fire. If you add the lace gene into your combinations, it's gonna do nothing but improve those. And from what I've seen from animals I've raised, from hatchlings up to adults, they tend to keep their color. They keep that crispness, that cleanness. So I think as a breeder of ball pythons, that's one thing. I mean, of course we all want to create these amazing, combinations of genes, but I think it's also important that we have something that looks beautiful as a hatchling all the way up to adulthood. So I see that happening with the lace gene. So I think it's a very important gene for you to have into your breeding program. So with that, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna get under the photo tent and bring out some examples, and I'll point out some things along the way. Alright guys, so first and foremost, we'll have a look here, is a single gene lace. Of course, if you've been following my channel, you do know that this is a lace 100% het puzzle. So there is going to be some influences from that puzzle, but for the most part, this is what you see in a lot of your single gene laces. Of course, the first thing you want to start out with is the obvious, and that's going to be the lacing of the belly line. I like to call these little patterns that come in popcorning. Now that popcorning, you do see that pop up in other animals, other genes, but for the most part, that popcorning is very consistent with the lace. So you see that running along the entire length of the animal. A lot of the times that popcorning will get a little more, I guess you could say, predominant in the neckline there. You see that towards the bottom. Another thing that happens, if you look at the alien heads, as it ages, you'll see how there's a gold highlight around the edges of the alien heads, and that will get more predominant in the single lace as it ages. Now another thing a lot of people will talk about, or some people will talk about, I guess, is you see the absence of keyholes in the alien heads. Now that's not always going to be a determining factor, because you do see a few of the keyholes here in the alien heads. It's not going to be a determining factor, but it is something that does pop up in a lot of the single gene laces. And we get to our next example and you'll see why. And I want you to keep in mind the color of this animal. Obviously it's bright. That's one of the things that drew me to the lace gene itself. It's a very bright colored animal. It enhances all of your combinations, but it is also extremely variable, and we'll get to that with our next example. Alright, so next up is another single gene lace. Of course, like I said, he is 100% het for puzzle, and you'll notice right off the bat it's a darker animal. He is also going into shed, of course. Like I said, so this one here is single gene lace, darker though, and if, like I said before, if you notice in the alien heads, he has way more keyholes than his sister does. But when you look at it, you'll see those gold highlights in the innate, or outlining the alien heads coming in there. Also, if you notice along his belly line, of course, we have that popcorning just like the other one. The biggest difference being the brightness between the two, and of course those keyholes. And also, since this guy, it actually is kind of a good thing he is going into the shed, because when people talk to me about the gene, I relate it a lot to, say, fire and also hypos. The reason I say that is because if you ever see a lace or a super lace go in a shed, they are just uber in shed. The blue that they go into is just insane. It looks like they've gone into shed with about 4 layers of shed on them. It really is kind of crazy. And in the super lace, the reason that I kind of mention hypo, these have hypomelanistic properties, because in the super lace, a lot, the one that I have, when he does shed out, that shed is clear, is clear, just like hypos, just like albinos. You don't see any pattern coming in to the sheds, and they have very rich blacks. So you would expect to see a lot of black in their shed, but that's not the case with these guys. And again, like I said, there's that popcorning all the way along the belly line. It remains consistent all the way down. So with that, let's get into a couple of combinations with the lace gene. Alright, so here we are. Next up is a simple lace citrus line pastel. So, and these guys are hatchlings from the latest clutch here at Martial Law Morphs, and they are extremely feisty, so there's a pretty good chance that you might see me get lit up in this video. But as I had said before, take a look at the enhancing that's going on in here. I mean, the yellows are just so vibrant, and those blacks into the dorsal, just so rich and vibrant. So as I keep preaching, the lace gene is just going to make all of your other combinations so much better. But one of the things with the lace gene, and one of the reasons why I wanted to kind of do this video explaining some of those things in the single form, is because lace is it does get overpowered by many other genes. So you have to be careful in identifying your combinations. Pastel is one that does kind of overpower it, but not so much to where you can't identify some of those characteristics. So you still see that popcorning, but it is also variable. In some animals, you hardly see any of that popcorning happening along the entire length. It only appears in sections of the snake. So it's very, very important to keep an eye on all of those things going on and just kind of settle him down a little bit. But again, a good place to start is in that neck, because a lot of the times that pattern is stronger towards the head. But also in pastel, you notice there's all the keyholes right there, and you don't see as much, or as I don't see as much of that nice gold highlight around the alien heads. That kind of gets removed. So, but as we'll see here in a moment, if I can get her all into frame, I'm going to take, this is a fresh hatchling, fresh shed pastel lace, and let's see what a couple of years does with that lace gene. Alright, so next up, here we have a 3-year-old female lace pastel. Now, I think we all know one of the worst genes for aging is going to be your pastel. I mean, if you disagree, let's talk about it in the comments. But, you know, pastel really has the notoriety of browning out so bad. Now, and I'm not going to, you know, BS with you here. She has, with time, she has browned out. But if you notice, she is also exceptionally yellow on those sides. She's keeping color very well. And if you notice down here in the blacks of her dorsal, the black just still remains very vibrant, very rich blacks. But this is, like I had said, that lace pattern can be extremely variable on the lace animals and combinations. She did not have very much of that popcorning as a hatchling. This little lady I picked up from a very good friend of mine, Mike Paquette at Nocturnal Mutations, and he's doing a lot of wonderful things with the lace gene. And in fact, we kind of had discussion with this lady at first because we weren't quite certain whether or not the lace gene was in there because it's so variable. But as you can see, for a 3-year-old pastel combination, she has held up just phenomenally. So, like I said, this is one of those things, one of the reasons why I preach so highly of this gene, is because you're going to make all of your projects so much better with this gene. You know, it gives that enhancement, much like a fire, but in combinations you can work with it and not have to worry about creating a white super, which a lot of people love, but it's very, very hard for breeding purposes because you create a white snake that may or may not have extra genes in them. And with the lace gene, you don't have to worry about that because that super form is not an all-white snake. Another thing that I wanted to discuss was in many lace combinations, the lace gene itself, you get a very nice, clean white belly. That's another key indication of that lace gene. Alright, well, this one is going to be real quick because she is not going to cooperate. But I did want to highlight her real quick because this here is probably one of my favorite lace animals here in my collection. This here is Black Pastel Fire Lace. And again, she's 3 years old and she is just phenomenal. The colors are so vibrant in her. You see, instead of that, or you see that creamy color that's in her dorsal and in her patterns. Again, highlighting the alien heads is a beautiful cream color right there that you see very much in Black Pastel Lace. And again, you see it coming in, that lacing along that belly line in combination. She does have some patterning in that belly, but for the most part it's a nice clean white belly. But and she's never been one to hold still, so, but she's just too beautiful that I couldn't bring on camera and show her off a little. Again, Black Pastel Fire Lace, and this little girl is going to be going to work here fairly soon, and I can't wait to see some of the combinations that could come from her. And now, this time quickly, getting back to the most recent clutch. The last one we looked at was Lace Pastel, Citrus Line Pastel. The crown jewel of the clutch is just a simple lace pastel calico. And again, I will mention Citrus Line pastels, because I do really feel that when working the combinations with pastel, your citrus line or lemon lines are going to be the best. They bring out a lot of yellow, very vibrant colors, and it's just working so great with Calico here. Especially, it's almost like two separate snakes towards the tail. From the front, you see a little bit stronger pattern towards the head, and then as you get down to the tail, it just starts melting away. But as you notice, that Calico almost completely wipes away any of that popcorning along the belly line, but you still see a fairly clean pattern, and also those rich, dark, vibrant blacks along the dorsal line. Just an amazing, I'm so amped up about how this clutch came out. Yeah, there's just have a look at this beauty. So there you have it, guys, highlighting the Lace Gene in its single form, taking a look at some of the combinations. One thing that I did not get to that I really was hoping to put on this video was taking a look at the white lace, the super form of the lace, but unfortunately he's right over there. He's busy. So yeah, like I said, guys, the Lace Gene, by no means am I that the guy, or am I somebody who's pumping out all kinds of these crazy combinations with lace. The reason being is because I have been in contact with other people who have hatched out some lace combinations that they weren't sure whether or not it was in there. So one of the things that's kind of become a mission of mine is to kind of take things step by step so I can see the evolution of the gene mixed in with combinations, which is painfully slow. It doesn't allow me for kind of getting further into combinations because I have to work it and so slowly and see each step of the way. But it's just something that's personally kind of important to me because like I said, I have had people reach out to me in the past wondering whether or not lace was in this combination or not, and I would sit there and stare at photos and I really honestly wouldn't have an idea other than, well, this one does look a little brighter, this one doesn't, I don't know. So it just kind of through experience, I've learned that my course of action, the route that I want to take, is I want to take it nice and slow and see these combinations evolve. But it's just something that's kind of important to me. But with that, guys, I think we're going to end the video for now. Don't worry, you guys know me. There's probably, this topic is going to pop up once again. But with the clutch I just hatched out recently, I just thought it was time to put something out there, give you guys a look, see what I'm seeing, and just maybe one of the reasons why I love this gene and will continue to mix it into the rest of the snakes here, the rest of my collection as I continue to grow. So with that, guys, we're gonna end it. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. Let me know what you think. You know, if you have any questions, reach out to me. You know, and I'll be happy to help you out. Try to answer any of your questions about the gene if you're interested in the gene. Yeah, it's just very, very personal project for me. So like, comment, share, subscribe, ding that little notification bell, and we'll see you real soon.